Hey, this is Cameron from AltRockLive and special guest John. I'm just kidding. So this is Cameron from AltRockLive and we're here with Aaron Gillespie.
Hola.
It's not. Thank you for meeting us.
How come I get the mic and you don't?
Well, because your answers are more important.
You want to share?
No. Thank you. So Aaron, we enjoyed Under Oath in the past. We're really liking the Almost, and now you're on your side project. Why the switch to the side project here?
I don't really know that I haven't called it a side project yet, but I've always I kind of got my start as a musician, leading worship, and I always wanted to make a worship record for years and years and years. And after a trip I took this past year, I finally kind of felt God saying this is the time to do it. So it's definitely been a trial by fire sort of thing, but here we are. So,
that's cool. Would you tell us a little bit more about your trip to Africa? Like, where'd you go? What did you do?
We went to Uganda with an organization called Compassion International. And what they do is they resource a local church on the ground in country, meaning they collect $38 a month from an American or Canadian or a non-third world country inhabitant, and you make a pledge of $38 a month. And what that does is that puts a child through school, gives them food, and it's my wife always reiterates this with me: it's not really you're giving them a meal, you're giving them a life. They will die without the sponsorship. This child is inevitably going to become deceased without this sponsorship. So we went over there to kind of see what they did, and it got interesting for me because I was really attacked while I was there. I thought I was going to get sick and just was really selfish. And the last day I wanted to feel a change while I was there, and I didn't. I just felt angry at myself. And the last day they all invited us to church, and it was nothing like I've ever experienced. Just the way that people worship God there was so intense and just with abandon and for no apparent reason. Think about that for a second. Like, why they worship there? They're dying of malaria and AIDS, and there's no escape room. For someone like me, if I were to go to Africa and get sick and just escape, I'm an American citizen. But for someone like that, God really kind of got a hold of me and said, you need to take this idea back to your country and to other countries.
That's cool. Yeah, thank you. That's cool. I was able to spend a semester abroad in Uganda, so that's
cool.
Yeah,
I love it.
That's great. So, Anthem Song album, we're looking forward to the release of that. Will you tell us more about your album as well?
It's the idea that there's this song that's been happening since the beginning of time. It's God's song, His glory, His mercy, and His grace, and His sovereignty, and danger, and everything He is. And it's been playing since forever, since it never started and will never stop. We don't use that kind of thing in our job, in our existence, is to kind of just grab a little piece of that song.
Yeah, that's cool, man. So I know on this album you also worked with a whole bunch of people. You worked with Aaron Sprinkle was your producer. You kind of co-wrote with him, or musically.
We did co-write one song together, yeah.
One song, and then Paul Balash, Sarah Hart, Philip Fleur, people like that.
Yeah.
What was it like to why did you choose to do that approach?
Honestly, I'd never co-written before, other than the band setting. So it seemed like it was a thing to do this time around. The world of worship song, I played worship songs my whole life, but the world of writing that was pretty foreign to me.
Yeah.
So this was me trying to just learn from some folks who do this, see where I got.
Cool. So how does this album set itself apart from, I guess, other worship albums out there, and is this a good change for the church and things like that? How do you think it'll affect things?
I don't know. I just went about it doing what I thought God wanted me to do. I don't want to say anything like, oh, it's going to change this or that. I don't really know. I'm not one of those people who I can't really put a mark on what it is or what it is not. I just know it's what God had me do at the time. Here we are.
Well, certainly going to have that unique Aaron Gillespie feel to it, and we're looking forward to that. I think that alone will set it apart, and
we'll see.
Yeah, I was able to listen to a few songs, and really, really cool, man. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I'm stoked. We worked real hard on it, so I definitely hope that people find hope in God and maybe some peace in it. So
yeah, definitely. So I guess Now, my friend John here, he's from 1031 Ministries, and he has a couple of questions for you too, just about previously, like you talked a little about in your bio about your experience in the church and stuff like that. If you want to.
All right. So my first question is, what was your experience in the church growing up?
Good and bad. You know, I think that people always have an idea that church is going to be a perfect entity, and it's going to be always edifying, and the reality is it isn't. The church is made out of up of people, and people are incessantly imperfect, you know. So it's one of those things that I had ups and downs. I think a lot of people want to hear from Christians that their church was the best church and everything is perfect afterwards, and it's just not the case, you know.
Right.
And you seem to have a heart for people who may feel neglected or abused
Sure.
by the church.
I think.
What would you say to them?
For a long time, I was a big proponent of being angry at organized religion, and the more I study and the more I see it, you can't get your feelings hurt with every little thing that goes on in church. You know, and do I think the church abuses people? I think so. Do I think the church helps people? I think so too. You know what I mean? So I think it's any community of people is going to cause hurt and good. You know, in my opinion, the church needs to become, and we need to keep becoming the bride of Christ. That's who we're called to be. You know, His hands and His feet. And when we're not those things, is when we cause hurt. Yeah. You know, when we are, is when we do good. So we need to stop making church a country club and start making it a hospital. You know.
Yeah.
Which is easy to sit here on the couch and talk about, but to actually do is, I don't know. You know, I don't know how we get there. You know, I know how we get there, but I don't know how we get from where we are now to there. Right. You know, I think that we serve a God who is perfect and loving and all powerful, and He wants us to be loving to each other, and it's a hard thing to do. You know, and I think the only way to get there is by obviously following His word. I know that's the way to get there, but it's a daunting task, you know. And I think there's lots of leaders and pastors and writers and stuff out there who are willing to do the work. And if we all get in it together and stop pointing to each other and start pointing to Jesus, I think it'll make it a lot easier.
That's cool. I'll put my I really appreciate that. So we talked about your mission trip, which is cool. So because of your desire to, so I mean, you started off with, I mean, I know we're going back to this, but you know, you kind of started off trying to reach out to, you know, the secular realm of things. You're touring with secular bands and stuff like that, coming down to being, you know, doing worship and things like that. Was that your intended approach, like to try to really reach other kids? And
my life has literally been just, God has just put me where He wanted me. You know, every time I try to do something on my own, it never works. You know.
That's cool.
God says in His word, His ways are not our ways, and His thoughts are not our thoughts. I'm just trying to follow Him. And all over the world, take me. I trust that it's the right place.
Yeah. Did you have any suggestions for, I guess, I mean, up and coming people who are trying to spread the word for Christ?
Do it because God is real, and you know that He's real, and you feel that He's real, and move out of the way and let Him do His thing. There's a musician that I love, and he says that we travel halfway around the world to some arena to move out of the way. That's what God calls of us, just to get out of the way and let Him work. You know, everything else in between is us complicated things. That's a good place to be.
Yeah, that's cool. That's great. So, what can we expect from like the show tonight? Like, I mean, what are you excited about for the show? What are things like that?
It's so different every night.
Yeah.
The most often left field tour I've ever done. It's so different. You know, sometimes it's energetic, sometimes it isn't.
Yeah.
We just ask God what He wants to do every night, and just kind of give Him forehand and just see where it goes. There's a song list, but that's about it. You know, there's not really much planning that goes into it. You just kind of show up and try to move out of the way and let the Holy Spirit do what He does and change lives.
I know when you were in Rhode Island once, you were able to speak at an Awakening conference.
Yeah.
And do you still speak sometimes?
I've been speaking a lot, actually.
That's great.
A lot more recently. I just spoke at a youth retreat in Washington State a month ago.
Okay.
I just spoke at Gateway Church in Dallas the month before that, so I've been speaking quite a bit. Yeah.
That's really great, man.
It's been a lot of fun.
Cool. Well, I mean, so tonight, I mean, so what's next, Aaron, from here? I mean, will you be continuing with the Almost? Will you what's next from here?
I just started writing for a new Almost record.
Okay.
Just gonna continue to lead worship and travel and just see what God has for us.
That's cool. Man. That's great. Well, thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Cool.